last topic. Spa. Spa, that was.
Spa friend jump.
It's the Spa Francorchamps. I felt like I pronounced that like you would pronounce, when you're at a restaurant and you're reading a
I'll have the
menu.
tuna tar.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's how I just read it. I
Yeah.
enunciated every little word in an
I mean,
American
Spa
accent.
Spa is an awesome track.
One of my favorite video game tracks of all time. Like I cannot get bored of that track because of the chicane up there, the Eau Rouge. Woo, that's the funnest part, flat
Yeah,
out.
there's nothing better about any car you drive, and it just you can fly through it. And
Yeah,
it's a good length. It's got a lot of different styles of driving. You
yeah,
know.
it's a good track, but apparently, in not sure, maybe a month ago or two, it was actually flooding,
Oh, it
and
was
they had
longer
to
than that.
redo a lot of it.
Yeah, it's. Well, I mean, it's at the. Some of it is that it's built on a hill, so the first straight is at the bottom of a hill.
Wow. Yeah, I'm
And
seeing
I
that
mean,
right
as you can
now.
look at that picture, wow. Yeah, if you can't see it, but I mean, it's and right after the first turn, and you go down to that bottom right before you start going up the chicane. I mean, it's just all water.
It's completely filled. The starting grid. No, that's not the starting grid. The starting grid's a little more back, right?
Yeah, it's
But
up that
wow,
turn.
that's insane.
Yeah, so if they got rain predicted, I mean, if it's they can handle rain. That was from the flash flooding events that
Yeah.
sent a bunch of mudslides. But yeah, they had to repair all the tracks. I mean, I'm sure there's been races on there since then.
Yeah.
That would be that's a dream race to go to though.
Hey man,
Super cool.
I'm
Super
down
cool
to go one
race.
day. In Belgium, I've never visited Belgium. I've heard really good things about it, so I would be 100% down to go to this race. I'd want to sit at the top of Eau Rouge though, 100%. I bet those are the most expensive tickets too.
Oh, of course. Of course. They're in the grandstand, so you'd be paying a pretty penny.
Pretty penny.
Don't worry, we'll get a Spirit flight out there.
Yeah, we'll save the money. We'll save the money on the flight to be able to splurge on the tickets out there. Maybe we won't have any luggage, and maybe we'll get enough fight on the way over here. But no, I'm really excited for the race, especially since there's gonna be rain most likely, right? Like, cause what I was telling Nancy before was there's most likely gonna be either rain on qualifying or race day. And as long as there's race in one of those, it'll spice things up quite a bit.
See, I'm not a huge fan of rain. I know
Me
people, it's
neither.
like, oh,
No, me neither.
the gods of grip will come out and somebody will be overtaking on the outside going 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like,
I think it makes the race boring because now they go much slower than they should be going.
I mean,
Like,
it's part of the event, it's part of the race, it's part of the sport. You just got to deal with the weather.
well,
But God, they
imagine.
look cool.
I mean, the wets are gonna look cool out. I think the wets look pretty cool. Um, Hopefully it doesn't rain because I mean, but I think the forecast. I mean, we're recording this what Wednesday or Thursday. I'm pretty sure the forecast is pretty accurate by now. Unfortunately, so we'll have to deal with the race being in the wet. Who do you think is gonna win?
I could see it being Hamilton in a super uneventful kind of fashion.
Yeah, just kind of
Because
takes
if
off.
Verstappen takes the penalty, the grid penalty for the engine, which I guess he's gonna have to drive, unless Ferrari can pull something out of their ass or McLaren can pull something out of their ass. So there's again another huge because the I don't know the gap gets a little wide right after the first turn. With just that straightaway itself, there could be a couple of overtakes first lap. Just with all that downforce and aero. But I don't have, especially I don't know races like these. It's like I have a feeling that Hamilton's just gonna take it.
Okay. Yeah.
Comes down to a lot of factors that
So let me
we
let me
won't
show
know. But
you let me show you something. I recently saw an Instagram post that talked about the different spa winners, right? And originally I thought I was like, okay, who's won what, right? Has Hamilton dominated this circuit? Or, who has it been?
it's been Ferrari.
Yeah, so apparently Ferrari has the most wins here. 18 wins. That's so many.
It's a lot of wins, but that's starting from the 50s. So if we're talking, 2018, 2019, that was Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah, and in recent time,
And
Mercedes
Mercedes
has
from,
won it
yeah,
2020, 17, 16, and 15, which isn't the best track record for Mercedes because there's some of them that they've won 8 years in a row.
yeah.
So this isn't the best track for Mercedes either. Um, so it will be interesting. I don't think it's going to be Lewis.
I have a bad feeling that it's going to be a really uneventful race. It's going to be like the first two laps, everybody gets in a position, and then they start spreading out, and it's after that it's over.
Yeah.
I hope it's not, but
I think this is going to be the first Ferrari win. I don't have they had a win this season? They haven't, right?
I have
I
no idea.
I have a feeling that Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz is just going to kill it, be very consistent, not mess up the pit stop. That's going to be very crucial. Not mess up the pit stop, and they're going to be fine. I think Ferrari has an opportunity to score some big points,
hmm
and I think Red Bull is not going to be on their A game. I think they're going to be a little jumbled up, um, and maybe they won't figure out their setup. Mercedes, yeah, there's a chance they might dominate this one too, though. I think it's between Mercedes and Ferrari, though.
Well, I'll tell you,
Um,
besides Spa that's coming up, the Japanese GP, the United States, it's Circuit of the Americas, and the Abu Dhabi GP. Those are going to be the ones like I really want to sit down and watch them because those three tracks could be pretty crazy.
yeah, we've got a big season ahead of us. Long, many races. I'm
But
really
Spa,
excited.
if I had to put my money where my mouth is, even before qualifying, I'd definitely take Hamilton.
Take Hamilton. All right,
Yeah,
we'll
which
bet
is
on.
just like the so sad way to
No,
say
no,
it,
no,
but
no, no. We'll bet on it. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Leclerc.
I think it's gonna be Leclerc.
Yep.
Okay,
I think he's. I mean, he won in 2019.
sure, sure.
He
No,
won
I
in
mean it could.
2019. I think he's a better candidate than most. One thing I'm noticing, Verstappen's had a pretty competitive car for a while. He's never won it. So,
And if he takes the penalty,
and if they're taking the penalties, I don't think, and that's why I'm saying Red Bull's not going to be on their A game because, well, they're going to have to be on their A game, but they're going to have to do it for like a few points or whatever.
yeah,
Um,
I don't know. It's gonna come down to good pit stops too.
yeah, yeah, I think pit stops are going to be crucial. And
This
it's
isn't the longest pit lane, but it definitely, it's right after that last chicane,
yeah.
and you got to sneak into it. And if you can get the timing down, you can get on it.
Do you think? Do you think there's a possibility that it'll go from wet to dry?
Oh yeah, especially with a track that big, it could be raining on one side and dry on the other.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be, if it doesn't rain the entire weekend, it's going to be wet half the race, or it's going to be wet the first half or the second half. Um, eh,
Ferrari might actually be a good choice because they've been doing some upgrades.
no, I think it's going to be Ferrari. I think it's going to be Charles Leclerc. So, it'll be interesting. I'm definitely going to watch at 8 a.m. I usually watch them post, but these next few races, I'm really excited for them. So I'm going to watch them, as
Mm.
soon as I'm in the morning. And so I can be watching it live, looking at
Is that
Twitter.
when it starts here, 8 a.m.?
Yeah, the race is at 8 a.m., which is really
Uh,
unfortunate that's why nobody watches F1 in the US, by the way, because who the hell is waking up at 8 a.m. on a Sunday? No
yeah, it is.
one.
I mean that, and there's just not enough races in the U.S. I think it's a pretty universal fan base, but definitely European and yeah, I'd say European dominated all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think what I've always heard is they try to host it at like, they always try to host the races at like 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. UK
hmm
time. So that's always the goal. And so, that time here, it's always, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I think there's even been one race that might have been at 7 a.m. But I don't know. It'll be really interesting. I've got my money on Ferrari. You've got your money on Lewis. Um, and we'll see. We'll revisit next week, and we'll see who's right.
Yeah, I've got $500 on it.
Yeah, and I've got a Whataburger outing on it. So hopefully I can buy a PlayStation 5 with those $500, and hopefully you like your patty melt if you win.
I will. I will. I'll eat it with your tears and some dipping sauce. Keep the bread nice and moist. Even though I won't be happy if Hamilton wins,
Yeah, exactly. Why would you pick Hamilton and be
because it's
very
just like,
upset about it?
because it's like the logic. Like if, like I said, if I had to put my heart, my heart. Well, I would love to see
Don't say Williams.
Williams. No, I'd love to see like an AlphaTauri car win it, like Pierre Gasly.
Oh
I think
my
that'd be
gosh.
sick, him coming
Yeah,
through.
that would be so sick. I think didn't no, I was thinking this is where what's his name won, Pierre Gasly, but no, this is not where he won. So, um, yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be crazy. If something like that happens, something crazy has to happen because for Ferrari, Mercedes,
Yeah,
nor
he'd either become a god for qualifying and be able to keep the pace with everybody else,
yeah,
or it nothing.
nothing. All right. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see next week what that is.